Well, welcome everyone. This is the live between Chislin and I. Just recapping on the memories and our experiences back in 2016. As you know, we both walked away with medals from the 2016 Rio Olympics, and I'm excited, yet a bit nervous to speak to Chislin and seeing his growth since the Olympic Games has been amazing. It's been massive. And how are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, my brother. Yeah, guys, Cheers and Colby here. Just a little review of our memories and special moments at the Rio Olympics back in 2016. Between myself and Wade, and just the awesome experiences that we lived out during that Olympics. Yeah, I think Wade has really shocked the whole world, and obviously myself and the two of us had a chat before everything, and knowing. What work he has put in and what work us as a sevens team has put in to make our country proud. So yeah, really excited to talk to Wade and be in touch with you, my brother.
Yeah, cool, man. I think thinking back to the Olympic Games, the first thing I think of is the opening ceremony. I'm not sure if you were there in time for the ceremony, if you joined us. Um, and how was you were there, right?
Yeah, we were there. I know
You
Cecily
remember?
was the flag bearers there. So
Yeah.
we were myself and the rest of the team were like behind you guys, just like enjoying the experience and the moment, like seeing all the other athletes and watching you guys like carrying the flag for South Africa was really awesome. We were like little kids running
Yeah.
and shouting around. It was exciting though.
Yeah, I think for me it was a bit different. I was like, I saw everyone around me, but I knew I'm about to represent the country and I was carrying the flag. And so my nerves was like insane, crazy. But as we entered the stadium and they announced South Africa entering, and I came out with the flag, and I just had a glance back, and I just saw, because I think we were next to each other basically, the
Yeah.
athletes and sevens guys, and as we entered, and I just saw you guys were losing your mind and enjoying the moment, and it just brought a massive smile to my face. And I guess it was also opening for us to say, like, we're here now. The job has to be done, and we need to do some amazing things. And I think for myself personally, that moment represented a big responsibility for me at that time to try and uh, make sure that my performances obviously have to now match my what I just did now, representing my country and leading my country out during the Olympic Games. And how did that moment motivate you as an individual to I guess represent the country as best as you can?
Yes, for especially after the sevens, being part of the Olympics for the first time has been insane, and just being a part of the South African team, representing your country is it's already a massive privilege. And then obviously seeing you having a responsibility in waving our flag is it's it's quite insane to put it into exact words, but it's just something grateful to see, because obviously we know where we come from, we know what we've gone through, and just to see us as family members being a part of something special, something great, and by all the work that you've done before the Olympics, the results that you achieved, obviously there came a lot of responsibility with that. But the same with the sevens as well. We had a good run before the Olympics, and there was a lot of expectation, especially from players that came in from the 15 sides, getting back into sevens. There was a lot of expectations, a lot of, I wouldn't say doubt. There was a lot of not negativity as well, like nerves in terms of with the guys that came back from 15s were able to participate at the Olympics at the highest level, with all the other countries having only seven specialities in their team. So it was a bit of a, a nervousness, but I think it definitely helped us as a group to develop and grow as we got to the Olympics. The more we got out into like the village of the Olympics was insane. It's like things that you never could imagine that would have happened to you as an athlete, seeing other big names walking around in the same village that you are living in. So yeah, it's been phenomenal just to be a part of that group, to be a part of that team, and to top it off is just to build that memories with you. But although we couldn't have seen each other as much as we probably would have wanted to, as you have your own routine throughout the week, and us at the Sevens have our program for the weekend training. I think our training is quite tough, but the training you do by yourself, it's things I can't imagine myself doing training like that. But yeah, I think we have to do what we have to do to make sure that we can be successful.
For sure, for sure. You mentioned quite a few pointers that is interesting for me. But I think things that's very important for me is obviously where we come from and our childhood, and obviously we have a lot of memories growing up together. Things like I would have my rugby game, and then you'd have your rugby game right after mine. Us being basically a year apart and supporting and seeing each other do so great on the rugby field, and then also I think most of the time we did the same track meets together, and I can't call us competing against each other directly in a specific meeting, but I know that when we came to our own personal individual age groups, we both dominated in those areas, and you miss doing track because I obviously do miss playing a bit of rugby now and then and so on. Do you ever miss doing uh, what track brings to you and that nerves and individual thrill that it and that competitive spark that it sparks to you? Do you ever miss it?
Yeah, just to touch on your first point, you're gonna have to ask any other person within the Kraaifontein community what's Kraaifontein, what's Scottsville like. The first thing someone's probably gonna be telling you it's a place where there's gangsters, and there's a place where there's a lot of things happening in terms of drugs and poverty and those. But I must say there's a lot of talent within our community, but it's just kids that doesn't get that opportunity to express himself, don't get that opportunity to live out their dream, and it's a bit sad to see those kind of things. But luckily for us, we've been brought up well by our parents and paved the way for us, and I think for me it definitely helped me quite a lot to where I am today in my life. Would never ever take that for granted. I've been back in South Africa about 2 months ago during the whole lockdown, and just the way everything has evolved and changed this. It's difficult like to accept, but yeah, we always try and help where we can. And then yeah, with us being as competitive from a young age, I guess that's why we're so competitive in our sporting codes. We always want to make sure that we can deliver the best performances, that we can be the number one athlete in our code. Yeah, with you being a year older than me, obviously I looked up in terms of the speed and the high jump and everything that we've done. And with me doing athletics, I did hurdles at a time where the hurdles weren't that high. I could still manage to run like full speed over all of them. But as we obviously grew old, the hurdles outgrew me basically. So I had to take a step back and focus on something differently. And that's why I started focusing a bit on 100 meters and 200 meter sprints. So, and obviously that helped me quite a lot too in terms of developing my speed and trying to beat your times, but I know I wouldn't be able to get close to that. But I tried pushing myself as hard as I can, and yeah, that's what we've been doing since we were young. We've been running the streets. We've been just having fun since we were kids. We're running bare feet. Just those small little things that you still think of when you were young, through all the things that you achieved through your career. It's those little things that you will always be highly grateful for. So, yeah, with us being competitive was awesome, and I think it definitely laid the foundation for us to follow.
I think it's amazing, as we're speaking now as well, how inspiring it is. You mentioning where we come from, Kraaifontein, Scottsville. There was a stage where, as you said, it was there was so much potential, there was so much talent right there where we grew up. There was a stage where we even had to doubt ourselves or question ourselves: are we good enough to be the best right here where we are amongst our friends in our community and stuff like that? And that's insane, and it's amazing to see where God has brought us today. Now we having a conversation on the Olympic Games. We're having a conversation on both of us being medalists at the Olympic Games, and I think that for me, watching you, it's massively inspiring, and I believe there is somewhat of a responsibility and a ripple effect from what I've achieved, obviously, that inspires the people where we come from and the community that we come from, and it always brings emotional pride to me knowing that I could represent us the way I did. But back to, I guess, the Olympic Games and our experience there. Um, Two questions that comes into my mind immediately is, what is a highlight moment for you individually at the Olympic Games? And I know one of the most common questions is, who is the most famous athlete that you met at the Olympic Games? Village. Uh, what's your two highlights and or your highlight and the biggest athlete that you've seen or met at the Olympic Village?
Yeah, it's quite difficult to have to choose two of them basically, but I'm gonna try and keep it as short as possible. I'm gonna try and keep it simple. But I must say, so we basically arrived a few days earlier than what you guys arrived in. And obviously with the training and that meeting or seeing so many athletes, and then I remember you got in I think it was the Thursday or the Friday that week, at the end of the week, and we just catched up the evening at, I think it was at the physio room or somewhere, and I just asked you like how you were feeling and what's your feeling like. What do you think you're gonna be pushing for in time wise on the 400? And I think the thing that you said is obviously you're just gonna have to do your best, and as an athlete, that's what each and every athlete can only do, is just do your best and make sure that you perform to your full potential. And I remember you telling me, no matter where I'm gonna be, what lane I'm gonna be, is I'm gonna try and go for 42. And I was like, that you wanted to achieve. For me, still also being a youngster at that time, obviously you look up to people, and just hearing something like that from you through all the races you've been before the Olympics, putting that target was quite a big responsibility. But at the end, you weren't short of it. I'm sure if you were in a better lane, you would have cracked the 42 quite easily. So that was definitely one of the highlights for me, just seeing you, talking to you, and seeing what you've accomplished throughout the Olympics. It's really been special. Now, not just for me, but for the family too. And then the second one, meeting there's quite a few superstars at the village, was Novak Djokovic that I got to take a photo with. I was quite scared to ask him for a photo because I was scared he's going to say no. But luckily he actually was quite open and like just interacted with quite a lot of the athletes, and then Serena Williams as well. I managed to get a photo with. I can remember John de Jong still telling me, "Jeez, ons moet nou 'n foto gaan vat." And we just started walking around and just jogging. And the moment we got there was like, if not more than 50 people just queuing around her. And we were just standing in the background. And the moment she left the circle, we just tried stopping her, and she stopped. And we just managed to get like a quick selfie with her. So yeah, that was basically two of my highlights of the Olympics. People that I never thought I would have met, that's been performing on the highest levels for quite a few years. And obviously your journey within the Olympics and the chat we had that evening. definitely just show that any athlete can achieve what they want to achieve whenever they set their mind to it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think from my side, and as someone that's experienced your growth from young and experienced where you come from and the barriers you had to break. I know the size challenge was a massive barrier for you once you broke into the professional barriers and so on, and you inspire me as not just family but as an individual and as a sports person. You inspire me my journey that I'm going through right now with my challenges and setbacks, and you know quite well what I've been going through, and seeing how you fought through so much challenges, injuries, difficulties, doubts, and fears. It really inspires me, and I thank you so much for being that person in my life, and I thank you so much for who you are for the country and what you've done for us. From my side, I'll close it. I see we've got like a few minutes left. I don't know if you need last questions or anything.
Yeah, now let's flip. Thanks so much. And yeah, as you know, for me, it's never been easy ever since I've left school. Getting into any like a professional setup. I've been everyone has doubted me. Everybody told me I'm too small. I'm too light. I'll never ever make it. The furthest I'm probably gonna get is to like provincial school level, and I won't get further than that. I've got those negative messages from previous coaches that coached in professional setups, supporters that's doubted me, and yeah, that's just made me or gave me that extra bit of boost and energy to show them that listen, what you believe in, what I believe in is two different things. If I'm willing to work as hard as I can and make sure that I want to achieve my goals, I'll do that to the fullest of my potential. And yeah, obviously with our parents as well that never had the opportunity back in apartheid, also just more open in terms of getting out there and proving people wrong because yeah for me as a rugby player and facing all those challenges, what they've been through at that time was also quite difficult. And obviously, opportunities are laid out for us now to make sure that we can benefit from them and make sure that we can break through and get that opportunities to succeed and make a positive life for ourselves, for our families, and be heroes to younger generations and younger kids out there to hopefully follow the same path as us. So yeah, really good chatting to you, man.
Yeah. Nah, man, and I think what you mentioned now as well is very important for us to highlight it. I see you. Sorry, you had a bit of a glitch. But on that note, as well as you said, it's so important for us to not take for granted the background and the history that comes with who we are, and also try and break that generational curse of we can't and things were difficult and there were struggles and so on. We now have the privilege to change that view and change that somewhat of a disadvantage that our parents had growing up, and now use it to our advantage to inspire our kids. I know you expecting soon as well. I'm very excited uh, seeing your family grow, and I mean it's important for us to build this powerhouse empire around us and around our family and friends and our associations, so that they can dream as big as what we have, and they can see by example what we've done with our lives and what we've achieved with our lives. And I think it's very massive, and it's a real honor to be able to walk this journey with you. I know that it's only the beginning of so much more for both of us. Many more World Cups for you, many more gold medals for me, and I believe that we'll just go from strength to strength, and that God will be present in our lives until the end. So thanks for that. Really appreciate it, and enjoy the
Thanks.
weekend game. Uh, all of the best.
Nice chatting. So before we that you achieved at the Olympics, getting back to South Africa, the feeling. What was it like? What was it knowing you won a gold medal, you broke the world record that stood for so many years? Just that feeling, if you can just to describe it to me again. I've read quite a few articles, but I would like to hear it personally from you, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that want to hear your story again.
Yeah, it was, as you know me, and I think you've also somewhat have similar qualities. I'm an introvert. I enjoy being at the back and not being the center of attention. So it was difficult for me at first, and that's why my first gold medal the year before in Beijing, when I won the 400 meters, and it was obviously a massive achievement for the country, and in the sports it was a big deal. But I kind of found ways to sneak into the country without anyone knowing that I'm entering, and I can just go home and then just appreciate the moment with my family and so on. But obviously, that time after the Olympic Games, breaking a world record and getting the gold medal and inspiring so much South Africans, because obviously while I was at the Olympic Games, there was so much stories, there was so much feedbacks and experiences of everyone, and then my family that was there as well. At that moment, just seeing how they experienced that um, was obviously a representation of what awaits me at home, and that kind of scared me, and it made me a bit nervous because obviously now there's a whole hype, and there's going to be a whole thing just for me. It's not like it's going to be a hype for the rugby team or the Olympic team. It was basically just one created for Wayde. And I won't lie to you, I was losing my mind. I thought to myself, how am I gonna get through this? I don't want all the attention around me and so on. But I think as I entered the airport, if I could put it that way, it was obviously a relief, a blessing. Wow, I'm home now. I can. It's that I'm home feeling. It always it's a amazing feeling. Yeah, exactly. And I entered the let's say the exit of the airport, and then obviously that's when you will see the entire people. And I'm sure that, yeah, you had the same, exactly, you had the same experience with the World Cup when you got back home. And I entered there, and I think as you go out, it's like you enter a stadium. When you enter the Rugby World Cup or final stadium, you forget about the crowd, you just switch off. So it's not like that. It's like I just went back into switch off zone, and then I had to switch out of it again, because this is now a moment where you need to appreciate it, you need to cherish it. It's not something where you need to focus and you need to uh, fix your mentality on getting the job done. It's now actually fixing your mentality to appreciating this moment, and seeing exactly somewhere how you can embrace it. And I think as I entered, things just got chaotic. It just, everything went crazy. People were trying to take photos with me and everything. And I think that's the moment when I realized I've got a responsibility. I've got a responsibility to represent not just myself and my family in a powerful, positive way, but my entire country. And ever since then, I knew that I can't take anything lightly when it comes to my actions, my ways, and that's why I always try and lead by example through my actions, my ways, and my values, and so on, because I believe that that will somewhat play a massive role in how the next generation will look forward towards achieving their goals and dreams, so that I can be somewhat of a guide, if I could put it that way, for them to you know what I mean? What they want. It was a massive representation, but still today it feels unreal.
No, that's awesome, man. And just something that probably topped it off, just walking out and then just the fastest man on 400 meters, world record, and also getting one of the fastest cars.
Yeah. But the car thing was also quite cool. With the Audi, I was actually more excited about that than anything else. To get into the Audi and drive it, and obviously I drove it for a few years, and then after that I was like, Audi, I need to switch this car, because the attention that I'm getting and the amount of people that approaches me because it became my day-to-day car, so it becomes very difficult to drive with it like every day because I felt like it was my responsibility, obviously, to represent the car in the best way I can, and it started becoming very draining. So that was also another thing, but it was a cool experience. It was a cool experience. I won't lie.
Oh, that's good, man. I can remember the day I visited you. Together we drove in a car and we went to the mall or something.
Uh,
Just like all the people running and everybody just knew it was because of the car and
yeah,
everything. But I must say I was like one of that fan guys and taking photos and everybody that came and everyone was just like, is he gonna get a photo? And I was like, yeah, go, I'll take the photo for you. So it's just like things like that that you like it was just insane, man. It's just like awesome to see that everything you achieved, and yeah, the whole setback with the injury and everything is probably not what you wanted, but as you know, God has different ways and different plans for each and every one of us, and I'm sure His plan will never be able to fail us, but to make sure that we come out on top. And with everything that's been going on, and we read things, obviously, you don't know what is true nowadays anymore. But yeah, brother, I just wish the very best for you. And I know that you will make the country proud. I know you make yourself and the family proud. So yeah, just keep putting in the hard work, and hopefully when we either get back to either South Africa or if you're in France or Paris again, we can get on the track and maybe
yeah.
pull up a race.
Yeah,
But
why not? Now that there's lockdown, now that there's not much sports out there, we can give them a young versus Wade versus Cheslin. We never know. We never know what might happen in that first 50 meters.
otherwise it's gonna be looking like I'm walking backwards. But nice to chat to you, my brother, and I really hope you're doing well. I know you're actually, and yeah, keep safe. That's our train as hard as you can, and yeah, regards to the wife, my brother.
I'll do that. Blessings. You too. Send my love to the family. Take care.
I'll do it. Keep up.
See you. Bye.